This is Ashley Mary Nunes.
This is Todd Nunes, and you are listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with Jon and Pete.
We are in our production home in Los Angeles, which is Hill Dog Productions, where they record the Screenwriters Rant Room, the Hilliard Guest Screenwriters Rant Room. If you don't already listen to it, subscribe to it right now. With us this week, we have Todd and Ashley.
Yes.
We're lucky enough to say our friends, but
family, friends. Good friends.
They're also with us to talk about their next project coming up, all the awards they've won with their previous project, which is called All Through the House.
Yeah.
And here's what I love about All Through the House before we really get started is that you've figured out a way to get yourself a check every year. Mm-hmm. And I think that with a seasonal
That's
movie...
your kind of math.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
That's one of my selling points when I was trying to get the money for it.
Yeah. It's great to have that as a concept. Mm-hmm. But when you actually produce the picture and it's good and it starts winning awards and it makes its way through the festival circuit and it starts getting crowd response, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice
thank
job.
you. It's
Todd.
been a great role. Well, you were a part of the process, Ashley.
Oh, thank you.
I had a conversation with Sandra Ponce de Leon.
Oh, Sandra!
Yeah,
yes.
we do another show called Popping the Bubble. It's more tech and business based.
Yeah.
And she said, "Who's the most famous person from Benicia?" And I'm like, "Well, that's tough. Depends on how you look at it." Because you had Reynard Rutherford played for the Niners.
Yeah.
And you have Willie Calhoun, who's an up and coming prospect for the Dodgers. You have Teresa Rodriguez, who's a world renowned travel author.
Yes.
All kinds of people doing incredible things. But Todd and Ashley make movies that win awards. So,
well, that's some pretty big competition. For
it is
most
big
famous,
competition. You know, and I'm leaving out a lot of people that have done a lot of other things, but you guys are absolutely on the top of that thing. So,
well, thank you.
Well done.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the movie poster that's got all the badges around it.
Yes.
You know, anytime I see that, I go, oh, look, this thing is happening. And All Through the House was happening.
We've had a great run. We were really excited about the people we came across, the response that we got, that people actually got it. And so we can't wait for October 4th.
And it's crazy that around this time last year was when we just had our world premiere of All Through the House.
Yes.
And we've been waiting for this moment now for a whole year, and I can't believe it's already here. Yeah. We're like, wow, this is so far
fast.
away.
Nerve-wracking,
and then now it happens so fast.
Tell us what happens on October 4th.
On October 4th, All Through the House is released on Blu-ray, DVD, and all major VOD platforms, including iTunes. It's going to be a big day for us.
Yes.
We're really excited. It's going to be a big blowout, and we've been consistently on the top 100 horror Blu-ray selling on Amazon since the pre-orders began. So it's been really exciting.
Wow.
That is
and it's not
fantastic.
even technically your, Christmas season.
Not yet, no. So we got a lot of...
I think all the seasons kind of roll together. So when you have a Christmas thing coming out, you start all the, like, Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's. To me, those are all one.
Yeah.
So I think it hits it enough months.
And I think that Christmas is becoming the new Halloween. And I think I absolutely love that.
So I can go out trick-or-treating?
Well, one
on
can
Halloween?
say
Christmas?
that Christmas is becoming the new Halloween, but not everyone can say, I'm helping steer Christmas toward being the new Halloween.
I'm doing it vigorously.
Yeah. Because, look, it only becomes that if culture dictates that, that's how we perceive it. And when we have cultural landmarks like the movies we like to watch, and that they steer us toward, ooh, it's Christmas time.
Yeah, and we are lucky enough to be on sort of the forefront of the Christmas horror movie genre, even though there have been plenty of Christmas horror movies, but there's a huge wave that's going to be coming out soon. So that's going to be following us, and I've been tracking them all, and I know, and they know what you guys are doing.
And the key word is following.
Yeah,
yes, following. We had Zach Ward on the show a couple months back, and he is Scott Farkas in Christmas Story. So now I get to do your guys' movie and his movie, and be like, these are people that I know and care about, and it's just going to make Christmas that much more fun and family-like. I'm excited.
Yeah, our movie is really family-like, just so you know.
Yes.
Family-like, I get to watch you guys. I get to watch Ashley run around and scream at everything.
Yeah, you do get that.
And you were on the Screenwriters Rant Room too, Todd.
I sure was. I had a great time.
That was fun, huh?
Yeah, it was a blast, and I got to meet really talented Hilliard.
Well, Uncle Hill, who also just celebrated a birthday. I think he's 27.
27
I thought
years
he was 23.
Yeah.
Just
not 23?
Yeah, he's 20.
I thought 23.
It could be.
Yeah.
I got to check my card.
Something like that. Anyway, when you have the ability to not only win awards, but when everybody says, hey, you know what, we have to really understand what Todd's doing because he's done something unique and he's done something that is now groundbreaking, and there are several people following. So, man, it's just like the things are falling into place for you. What are you guys doing now?
Well, right now, we are getting ready for our release.
Yeah.
And also, we are in the midst of pre-production on my next movie, which I'm real excited about, Death Ward 13, which is the remake to the cult classic movie Don't Look in the Basement.
Death Ward 13.
Yes.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, I can tell you that it is a remake. It's also a reimagining. We do a lot of things differently. I don't want to do the same movie again,
Sure.
but I want to take the concept of that movie
Okay.
and put a spin on it. One of the most famous things about that movie was that it had this amazing twist in it. But since that movie's come out, that twist has been done a gabillion times. People are very, very familiar with it, and I think that's one of the reasons why the movie's never been remade is how do you do that? You just sit around and wait for this twist you know is going to happen?
Yeah.
So I think once I found out what I needed to do with it, that's when I thought, yeah, we can do this, and we ran with it.
Here's Todd creating suspense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Right
even
now.
even in pre-production, when you're talking about it, you're creating suspense. What's your pre-production process all about? Tell us the day-to-day
pre-production
stuff that you're
process.
into
Well,
right
for
now.
most people, the pre-production process is maybe a bit boring. It's not the most exciting part, but it's a lot of getting all your ducks lined up, making sure that your money is going to the right places, that you're getting the right places, and you're getting the right actors, which is the last thing that we're going to do because that's still a process. But we want to make sure we have our special effects, our makeup, everything that we consider that's going to be really important to this movie.
Which is everything.
But I always think that stuff does go on this is really important.
Yeah.
When you get down to moments where time is an issue or anything can happen,
Yeah.
you always have to have that plan B. And I love a plan B. I spend as much time with my plan B as I do with my plan A. Because I'm always going to plan B.
Okay,
because
so
something
let's
is always happening.
Talk about that. In the proportion of plan A versus plan B in your production schedule, let's say all through the house, what would you say, and I'm going to start with you, Ashley, because I wonder if the number's different. How many times do you think, we got to go to plan B? What?
Oh, usually a lot. It happened a lot with all through the house.
Is a lot 50%, 60%?
Oh, definitely over half of it.
Over half.
Definitely.
Well, I would say, probably it could be more 50%. Yeah, I mean, my goal is to get Plan A,
Right?
So I'm going to do whatever I can. But if the building burns down, it's I don't sit there and be like, oh, the building. There's no time for that.
No time.
It's Plan B. I already got it lined up. Let's go now.
Yeah.
Let's make the most.
And
of
I guess
it.
that's why we don't really notice when Plan A doesn't work out because Plan B is already there.
It's already there and it's already good and it's thought out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that allows for the movie to roll on through the production schedule. But sometimes Plan B
here we go.
becomes the happy accident,
Yes.
right? It's
yes.
Man, we didn't see that coming. And then a fire truck came by.
Yes.
And we just said, point the
We had
camera
a
at the
lot
fire
of
truck.
Yeah,
Plan
we
B
had that
moments
was one moment we ended up not using that I really loved it. It forces you to think and it forces you to think fast and make decisions, and that becomes that sort of that moment that you're like, wow, this is really great.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to use one of them, but it is fun when it happens.
Well, this is the difference, I think, between screenwriting and filmmaking. Between those two processes, there is the composition. So the screenwriting is like classical music. You make the ideal. And then the filmmaking process becomes like jazz. It's like, well, you know what? That didn't go the way we were going to go, so let's go. We have to change the course of this ride now. And it's little things and decisions and stuff that make it so that you go, the difference between the screenplay. That's why it's so much fun to go back to a screenplay after you've seen the movie.
Yeah, isn't it?
Because you can go, oh, they didn't even plan that. And that was brilliant. Or here's this thing that they thought they were going to do, and it turns out that the better decision was, whatever.
To hold back or to not show it or...
Yeah. So, Ashley, how much leeway do you create for yourself in terms of your performances? If you're going to do, let's say, 3 or 4 takes at a crucial scene, how different are those 3 or 4 takes? And how much Plan B planning do you do?
Well, for me, there was a lot of not really plan B, but we didn't have a whole lot of rehearsal time with all through the house. So it was kind of like we did our blocking, and then Todd may suggest something, and we roll with it. We change whatever direction he gives us. We change it and move on.
Okay.
So it was pretty quick.
So it's great when you go, man, you really nailed that one take. Let's go. Print it and let's go.
We called those the money shots.
The money shots.
One take wonders.
But how many times do you go, you know what? Let's try and catch this like this. And how much leeway do you allow yourself in the production schedule for those serendipitous moments?
Well, again, that's why I say I always I'm visualizing everything on a list on what's most important. And if I'm in a scene with someone and it may not be quite what I want, I know that the next scene that we're filming has got like a really major scene or a major character development or whatever.
You have to get that.
Yeah, and I have to get that. So I'll make the sacrifice on something like that to make sure that on those money scenes and the money shots that I have time to work with.
Right.
Like I stuck an actress in a closet for like 2 or 3 hours.
Just for fun.
Oh, yeah. Was this about... Yeah. And but she loved it, and when she came out, she rocked the scene. I mean, you see the haunting in her eyes, and that's what we're really trying to get is for the actors to believe what they're saying in their eyes more than in their movement or hands.
Todd is twisted.
Yeah,
I sort of want to walk away from here. That kind of creeped me out a lot.
Wait until you see Death Ward 13.
Yeah, you don't want to know what I told her.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Yes. So, Plan B is awesome, but the universe has a funny sense of humor, and it's like, hey, fuck Plan B.
Yeah.
What's your Plan C? What's your Plan F?
Definitely has Plan C's too.
Right.
Well, Plan C is usually when you go in on the set and you're getting ready and you're doing stuff. You're thinking of other possibilities that possibly you weren't thinking when you were there looking at the paper. Or you were blocking it out in your mind or whatever. So Plan C would usually consist of what you have available. If you have a window and you want to just have some light shining through and silhouetting somebody or closing it and doing the blinds thing or rain coming down or whatever.
Things that just happen to already be happening.
Yeah, that you can get there to try to just get what you need and move on.
Like, hey, why don't we just, since this is the last shot of the day, let's let the bear maul Ashley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
those things like that have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's times where we were filming a different movies, and I was getting choked, basically, and the actress who was choking me just kept spitting out more and more blood, and Todd made me like struggle there. I don't know for how long, and the blood was all like dripping in my mouth, and it was making me choke and gag, and I'm just getting the real gag.
Yeah. And I kept filling the actress's mouth up with blood. I'm like, we need more, let's keep going, roll.
That went on
spitting it all over Ashley.
and I literally had to push her off of me too after that. So it was
and
was
she
a lot.
ended up in the
truly
hospital.
disturbing.
Yeah, the doctor was looking at her
And
ear.
Oh
real.
yeah, I was getting
it was still in the
physical
Caro syrup
for
was still in their
Robot Combat
ears.
League, and
Yeah.
the doctor checked my ear, and I thought something was wrong with my ear until after I got back. I was like, oh wait, I just had a bunch of blood like syrup all over.
That's
inside
great.
my
That's the price you
ear.
pay.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the price you pay.
Sacrificing for art. But that, too, is like jazz. I mean, you're in the moment, and you discover a moment. And you're there with whatever circumstance that you were dreaming up while you were typing now is real. And you see the light, and you see maybe the broken light through the trees or the shadows coming in, and you go, man, I got to capture this.
Absolutely.
And you capture your actors going, hey, I need to lean over this way a little more because this is darker and this is spookier, and let's get this. And then, holy shit, that's really working. This lady's killing my sister. Keep going.
Yeah, that's a money shot.
Yeah. So, way to be a trooper.
Oh well, thank you, thank you.
That is one of the great things about Ashley, what she's willing to do for the movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of actors might be like, she never gives. It's like, oh, if it needs to be done, she's going to do it.
Right. Let's go. We'll go to the
blood syrup
hospital
is gonna
later.
Get inside my mouth, and I'm
we
going to
need
gag.
you to jump in that dirty lake of elephant dung. And she's like, sure, all down.
Okay, you only get one take, though. I'm doing this one time. So
That's not true. You've been training her since day one. You're like,
Yeah.
hang out this
Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
let's go again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
My earliest memories are 5.
Yeah.
When I was 5 years old, I played a lot of
Grab this harpoon.
different parts in these
Yeah.
movies.
Okay, now run.
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't really
Shoot
use
at her
fake
with the
knives
harpoon.
back
Right.
then. We were
Yeah.
welding the real knives.
I've seen you get stabbed in the face in a performance with a knife, a real knife.
Yeah, a real knife. It wasn't sharp, but it was sharp enough.
It still bled.
Yeah, I bled all over the stage, but you got to keep
Everyone
going.
thought
right?
that was great. Special
Sacrificing
effects.
for the art.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an actual stabbing in Romeo and Juliet. Yes, there was.
But here's the thing about siblings working together in creative endeavors is you begin to get a shorthand, right? You know that like, oh, here it comes. Todd's got here comes the blood, and he's gonna keep going, and he's really getting this shot. I better plan on letting this happen. Mm-hmm. And you understand that that's going to be, so you get to be collaborative in a way that two people who are strangers and didn't grow up with each other and didn't grow up one torturing the other, some would say, they don't get to have that language and they don't get to have that simultaneous vision. I mean, has it been an advantage for you guys?
Oh, yeah, absolutely it
so.
has.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely it has. I mean, we're still brother-sister, so we still argue and stuff. But when we're on the set, we don't really argue. So I think that it's pretty much, she knows that we're there to do a job.
Yeah.
That if I'm telling her something to do, it's not because I'm being the older brother who's picking on her. I'm just doing my job.
He treats me like
Yeah.
any of the other actors.
Right.
Except for he knows that he can push me.
Right. Well, and
literally.
you've seen the budget for like all the blood, and you're like, there's a little big budget for blood. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to be swallowing blood
That's
for
like
days.
10 jars of syrup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our budget was almost as much as it cost to film the movie. Just our special effects.
Nice.
So it's a little gory.
Yeah.
A little gory.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So when you are working with Todd versus other directors, how much more freedom do you think it gives you to say, okay, I can explore this because I know where his buttons are too, and I know how much room he's going to give me? Is it more freeing, or is it a little constricting knowing, here's my brother, and he's going to make me do all this stuff, and he knows that I'll sacrifice for the shot, but I got to give him what he wants?
But I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing that because I want the scene to come out as real as possible.
Yeah.
And as more believable. And if I may suggest, I'm ready to go. Like, if you want this to look real, I'm like, choke me. I've had people, I'm like, choke me harder, please. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you know that you're not hurting me.
Right.
But it's okay to make it look like your hands are choking me.
Yeah.
Not like actually choking
Yeah,
me,
I
but
think
look like you're choking me. You
Ashley
don't have to be
realizes-
far
Just
away from
going
my
for
neck.
it in the scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
She realizes what, like, we had a kill scene from this actress that we were doing, and we were putting her through the ringer because, you have to get it right, and you got to be a certain way, and there's blood everywhere, and it's in her eyes and all that. And I told her, I said, I know you want to stop, but you're going to be so happy that we kept going when you see your kill scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says, okay, let's keep going. And she did.
It comes out in the wash.
She did. Yeah, because that never goes away.
Right.
What you're putting on film, that's there forever. So if you have the opportunity, I mean, I could
Boy,
film
was that horribly uncomfortable. And then when the next person
Yeah.
sees it and goes, holy shit, I was so affected by that. It's like, that was totally
And you
worth
cringe
it. Yeah.
during that scene, too.
And the cringe comes
cringe.
through.
The cringe comes through.
So what are you guys looking at, or what are you doing, seeing? How are you entertaining yourselves in a way that's inspiring your artistic movement right now? What do you do when you get home and you're not watching your own footage? What are you looking at right now?
Wow. See, I mean, I watch horror movies.
Yeah.
So I watch every horror movie that comes out. I watch all the old ones, the new ones. I like to keep up on that. I mean, it's not just, I mean, it's not like work for me. This is what I do because this is what I love.
Yeah.
So if I'm working on doing a film, that's for me, that's a vacation.
Yeah. Right. You're just doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, specifically, what right now turns you on? What are you going like, man, I'm really excited about this, and it informs my work because it makes me feel like I got to raise the bar? Or what's inspiring you right now?
Inspiring me, wow. Well, I'm inspired by other people, other indie filmmakers who are...
Yeah, like who?
My good friend Jessica Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
That's
awesome.
I've learned a lot from her.
She is a force.
No
she
kidding.
is a force.
She's got a plan 27F. Like,
She
it's
absolutely
deep.
does. And
Yeah.
she's an incredible person
Yeah.
who is not short on information or
How
sharing.
how do you contain that energy?
I just suck it all in and listen.
Yeah.
I just get everything I can. Whenever she talks, I'm listening more so than.
I love that you can look at her and she's telling you what she's about to do, or she's telling you what she's in the middle of doing, and you're going, that is absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah.
What on earth are you thinking? And then you go, but she's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
It's mind-blowing how much she knows.
Yeah.
So I'm always there listening.
Yeah. So besides Jessica, and we could talk about Jessica too, but besides Jessica, what else is out there that people should be paying attention to that's good? Because you're watching horror all the time, but some of it's shitty.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I have a lot of I usually watch horror movies with other people, and other people are a lot more critical of these movies than I am.
Well, you've been through the process, and that's what makes the difference.
It's like, okay, well, their sound was good, and the footage was in focus, and you know, third act could have been a little bit more. They could have
tightened that up a little bit,
or they could have had something to say. I think that's one of the things that I miss most about a lot of these horror movies is that there really is nothing for them to say other than it's a killer killing people.
Yeah,
and I think that when you have that, when you're having people ask a question as they're watching a movie, or analyzing things, or that your mark on this is just a little slightly off than other movies, that makes a huge difference. And I can really appreciate that when I see that.
Well, sometimes, like if you're watching baseball, for instance, just to clarify this for the audience a little bit, you see a guy go up against a pitcher. He gets into the batter's box, and maybe he strikes out. But in the course of striking out, he played an incredible chess match with this pitcher. He got 12 pitches out of him. He fouled off stuff. He didn't chase what was out of the strike zone, whatever it was. And at the end of it, it was a strikeout, and the pitcher won the battle. But what an epic battle it was, the tiny battles. Mm-hmm. And I think as a filmmaker, correct me if I'm wrong, what you see when you look at a horror movie, maybe people can be critical of the movie in general, but you can look at things within the movie and go,
absolutely,
man, they really did that. They really hit that note, or they really tried really hard to do this and it didn't quite come out, but man, what a thing. That completely misses most of the audience.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just finishing a movie.
Yeah.
Finishing it, having the credits rolling at the end of the movie. I mean, it's a huge feat, especially for some people. There's a lot of things working against you, especially if you're filming your movie here.
Right.
In Hollywood.
There's a lot of things working against you.
Absolutely. I mean, we filmed a lot of things in Benicia, good old Benicia, because it was so friendly. Right. Nobody cared. The cops came by and waved and
hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Exactly. Right. This is really cool.
We had family driving by, and too. Like,
we're
what you doing?
Terrified of the police, okay? I'm a filmmaker. I'm terrified of the police. So I was like, we just stood there with our eyes like deers, and they just said hi and moved on.
Yes.
Yeah.
We filmed this scene one time for one of my art classes in college where we went to the library, and you were rolling around on the floor making a racket in the library. Yeah. No one cared.
No.
You could do that in Benicia.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
And during that time.
Sure, during that time, yeah.
Yeah. You can't do that now.
I wielded a gun on Bart one time for a movie.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was quick.
Yeah.
We were able to tell everybody in the car, hey, you guys, we're about to shoot this movie. I'm going to take a gun out. There's only like 11 of us. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm going to take a gun out. It's not a real gun.
It's Rockridge.
I'm going to make sure, and that's going to be okay. And everybody was like, all right. Except for the one old Chinese lady. Didn't speak any English, and she was sitting back there. I think she might have had a chicken and seat next to her, and she looked at me like, what's going on here?
Gosh.
And then the gun came out, and the camera was thankfully there, and everybody was like speaking movie language. You know, speeding, and we're doing the thing, and then it's over, and then we got off at the next stop. And thankfully, nobody got arrested.
If you like the show,
and you know you do,
send us some pictures of your movies.
Don't do that. Support the show.
There are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics, and it helps us get better placement. Number 2,
visit our website,
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay, you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show.
We like boobies.
Wow.
Whenever we do something
But you
that's
can't do that here in Los Angeles.
No, you can't. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
whenever we do something that might be questionable to the outside, outside of our little production, we usually end it with laughter, lots of laughter.
Yeah.
Someone's screaming, just been tortured. We end it with a laugh.
We laugh and we clap.
And clap. Yeah.
Get the crew to go. Good job, everybody does it. It's just the way.
Just
Because
to
if
make
you're out in the
everybody
woods,
knows we're all okay.
Yeah.
screaming in the woods, it doesn't look good.
Right.
No.
So when you did, are you talking about All Through the House? You shot any of that in Benicia?
Yeah, we did.
All right.
We did. We shot in Southampton. We shot in American Canyon, which is not Benicia, but we shot in Southampton, at
Cool.
someone's house there. We got it for free.
And you get it for free, right?
And
you don't
yeah.
have to deal with the film
Everyone's
commission. You don't have to
excited
pay
about
for
their house being
permits.
in a movie
And
there.
somebody's house gets immortalized in cinema.
Yeah.
Being siblings, you guys have a family portrait that is unique. Because
Boy, no kidding.
I can look at pictures of me with my brother when we were kids, and we laugh about those. But come on, a series of feature motion pictures, a body of work that you can go, hey, remember when we captured Ashley in her 20s? Or, one day, God willing, we'll be 85 years old, and you'll be showing your film
Running
to
through the woods.
great grandkids, and that's Grandma. She's running through the woods.
Grandma used to run.
That's exciting. I mean, we still have those moments from when we were little.
Right.
We're like, wow, I can't believe that we did that. I
Yeah,
mean,
we have horror movies from
like there were
VHS
VHS,
horror movies.
and
Oh,
stuff
sure,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I
The
played
big
a
giant
demon
cameras.
once
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big giant cameras.
Yeah, they were huge. Just sit on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You thought you were a real big filmmaker.
Yeah. No way to keep those things steady, too. Like if you breathed or anything. It was like
Anything.
it was just moving all over the place. It was just so heavy. It just kept moving.
That's when Todd did the acting, cinematography, editing, music.
Everything.
It's like you had to tape the trigger on the camera so you could
casting.
run in front of it and play your part.
He had his actors, and then he was crew.
Right.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
How big your crew now?
Well, it depends. We have a bigger crew on this next movie. We did not have a big crew when we did All Through the House.
Yeah.
We didn't because we were also going to be traveling. It was
So were you directing and shooting the movie?
I wasn't shooting the movie. No, we had a cinematographer, Ryan Anderson, who did an amazing job. But I did do anything and everything else that was necessary.
Right.
So there was no
Wore a lot
job
of
that was
hats.
too small for me to do, and I was doing it. And we also had another person, Glinda Slugs, who was also just hands-on. So the three of us, my cinematographer and the three of us, we did most of the work.
Let's talk about the four most crucial crew positions aside from director. If you got four people who are everybody's going to wear everybody's hats because let's face it, when people need M&Ms, people need M&Ms.
Yeah.
And you're the director and the craft service guy. But if you have to fill four positions where somebody's primary role is going to be this, what are those four positions?
Well, definitely cinematographer, sound.
Okay.
And depending on the movie, if you're talking about special effects artists, for All Through the House, that was a huge role for us. And also a production designer.
All right. So what you just described really was everything central to the way the movie looks, the way that we perceive what happens in the action, and the way that we hear it. So what'd you leave out? Like, what role becomes a secondary role where you can go, we don't need a transportation captain? That's like...
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like the first AD, and if you go on the bigger ones, you have first AD, second AD. It goes on and on and on until you have
Script supervisor.
Script supervisor.
So you didn't throw script supervisor in there?
Yeah, script supervisor is a good one.
Yeah, but number 5.
Yeah, because I mean, I did it on All Through the House, and I'm telling you that it's a script supervising nightmare, considering everything that we had to do and all the cheating out that we had to do. Like, we literally had to make that house that I had written about with a combination of 9 other different locations to make it work the way that the story was written.
And that is just a continuity.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
Gargantuan.
Yeah, and no one's ever caught anything.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, we're like, that didn't exist. That was just people were like, wow.
Nobody's caught anything.
No one's caught anything. So
like, hey, you walked in the room
they
with
will
the sandwich
now,
in your left hand, and then all of a sudden...
They'll be looking for it now that I said
people
something.
always will.
No, even Lori, Steve's wife, didn't even know some of the scenes were even filmed in her own home.
Yeah.
No kidding. That's great. Hey, Lori, you know that's your bedroom, right?
Yeah.
When the budgets get bigger, there must be jobs that you're like, I do this job because I'm an indie filmmaker and I've got to be lean. But these aren't the ones that necessarily make the movie better, but just it's not a good use of your time when there's more money. What are some of those jobs?
Yeah. Well, a lot of those jobs come down to, they're not so much my hiring.
Right.
It's our producers.
Yeah. And how much they have to work with,
and what they want to make sure that's taken care of. What their money being invested.
Right.
They want to make sure that I have a
it
first
starts
AD,
with everybody has to show
supervisor.
up at 8:00 in the morning. Call time's at 8. Everybody be there. Whereas on a larger picture, you go, okay, call time's at 8. Your guy's picking you up at 7:15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna knock on your hotel room door and make sure you're out the door at 7:15. So be ready. And if you have a bigger budget and you get those luxuries, where do you suffer?
Well, you suffer. I mean, when I did All Through the House, I had pretty much control over everything that was going on.
Yeah.
Producers are working. They're busy. They're giving me this opportunity. Mm-hmm. And these are great producers, by the way. Stephen Redmond from the Redmond Company, Bone Crusher Films. And now that they're like, okay, Todd's making a movie.
He can do it. Yeah.
Let's do this one.
We can trust the captain to steer the ship.
Yeah. A lot of control, I guess you could say, does get taken away. So you have to... You got to be good with that. You can't be a control freak when you're working with a larger budget. And
you have to be willing to delegate.
Yeah.
What are some of the things, though, like Pete was saying, that go out of your hands? Like, Todd, you don't get to do that anymore.
Yeah, as a producer, I want you to focus more on the film and less on swinging a hammer doing set design.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's hard to make that transition. I'm like, looking up locations and doing all this, and he's like, stop, you don't need to do all that. We'll have somebody who will come to you and show you these locations, and you can look over them. You don't have to do that. He's had to stop me more than a couple of times doing things that just I felt that I was used to doing that I have to do. What do you mean we're going to have somebody looking at prisons and asylums? You mean I don't have to do that?
Yeah.
It all started with the one-man crew.
Yeah.
That's how you have to start, right?
A singular vision from a single person. Now as you get bigger, you have to allow it to be executed on your behalf.
And a lot of less stress, too.
It is, but it's almost like, it's like I want to do it. It's like I want to get in there and I want to do the legwork. I want to do all that. But I know that it's going to be better in the end because then I get to focus more time on blocking out my scenes and
working with the actors.
Working with the actor, working with my DP. I mean, that's really what, I like to do first. And so that's allowing me more time to do that.
You're spending your days getting the right shot, getting the right lighting,
the right shots, the right lens, the right lighting. I want to be really, I want a lot of atmosphere to come in through this one. We had a lot with All Through the House, but we don't have the privilege of having Christmas lights and trees and all that. So I really want to make sure that we're getting this sort of moody, claustrophobic feel to this one, and that requires a lot of planning and thinking out.
Yeah, but suddenly if you have to go, okay, hold on a second, because I got to restring this thing over here and I have to put this wall back up. And if you have to do that, then you have to sacrifice time from going to the next,
being on the next scene.
So, Ashley, as an actor, when you have downtime while all the stuff's being set up and you're prepping for your next scene, what are you doing mentally to prepare, and how are you, what are you doing to communicate the next thing or isolate yourself so that you're not distracted by whatever's going on?
If I'm not already helping out on set, because I did help out a lot.
See, here we go. Ashley, grab this hammer.
But there were moments in the movie where Todd was like, no, it's okay for you to go and prepare and focus for it. So mostly those ones, I just try to find out my connection with the character to really bring the scene out. Just digging through, behind the lines, what's underneath, what's being said underneath it.
Well, how much does the other stuff, though, help you prepare? I mean, how much do you get from, well, I had to set up I helped hang the lights and I helped set up the shot, and now I see that there's some shadows coming over here, and I can sort of get a, deeper feel for the spookiness we're trying to create or the claustrophobic feel of the film. Does that inform your performance, or would you rather have the luxury of saying, you know what, let me step back and just concentrate on this performance and let everybody build all the stuff around me because I got to do this?
I mean, that's like a dream. That's nice. Like, I would love to be able to focus and put 100%, like everything I got, 110% into that. But I also, like what Todd said, when there's a time where you have to pick and choose your battles with scenes. So when a scene called for me to step away and prepare for it, mentally prepare for it, I will do that. But then there's times where you pick and choose, and so if there's like a smaller scene and it's just dialogue and we're setting up, it doesn't really throw me off or take me off, but.
When you are trying to get to that point, when you're trying to get into your character, or whatever it is that you would do, you said, you kind of get behind the lines. I don't know what that means. Help me understand what that means.
What's being said underneath it. Like, there's a story to everything that comes out of our mouth.
Can you give us an example of what that is?
A lot of it goes with, acting with your eyes and being said. Like, what is being said is really being said with your eyes and not with the words that are coming out. So it's just trying to find that connection.
Are you conscious of more than just your eyes? Like, I know my shoulders need to be rolled a little bit because that creates, this kind of an emotion at all? Or
no, it's not really like acting, like making your eyes make a certain look. It's more like in your brain and your mind.
Nice. Okay.
And so like whatever's being in your mind should be portraying through your eyes.
That's the window to your soul. So you have to put your soul in the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you could tell when someone's lying by looking at their eyes, and that's what it really comes through in a movie and on film. Some of the best actors, their face is just there, and their eyes are telling the whole story. It's believing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we watched a movie and gone, "Oh, that's full of shit"? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it does come through, and it's not a look or a gesture. It's just, I don't buy it. That's not
Is that ever on purpose? Like, I was watching an episode of CSI. I was at Gary Katie's house. I'm helping house sit with his friend's house. And we were watching CSI, and they just could not stop overacting. David Caruso is the king of that crap. Like, easy, buddy, easy. It's like he's on the stage, he's acting so big, but he's really on this small screen. Is that ever on purpose? Like, we try to outact something? Is that am I missing something?
Well, sometimes it can be on purpose. I mean, we're doing like an 80s inspired horror movie.
Sure.
Okay, so even though I want everything to be believable and I want to have those moments and stuff like that, I also want it to come across as being fun.
Right? Yeah.
So
and call back to that feeling.
And call back to that feeling. Not to, all the actors did a standout job, and they've won awards and all of that. And I think it's because that was also part of the thinking behind developing this movie and talking with the actors and trying to get that fun out of them. So that people.
It's a theme. It's not a thing to try to do.
Yeah, we wouldn't be acting like Terms of Endearment in my movie. Yeah. It really wouldn't work.
Right.
Like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. I always thought about, and you'll know which movie this is. There was a movie, there's a slasher film where the guy does a pole vault and he lands and there's spikes in the pad.
Oh, what movie was that? It was with those athletes.
Yeah,
right? Wasn't it? With
right,
the athletes?
yes.
Yeah, I know this movie.
Well, either way, I always was curious as to, because I think about logistics.
Graduation Day.
Graduation
Day. Graduation Day.
Todd will pull something out.
I knew he had it. And I saw it at, we rented it at the video store down by Pizza Pirate. That's what I picture when I picture it. Yeah. Anyhow, so I always wanted someone to tell the story of the serial killer from his logistics point of view. He's like, okay, I've got to hurry up and make the spikes.
They do have a movie like that.
Yeah, because that would drive me crazy.
The Black Mask. It's an amazing movie. It's really, really good, I suggest.
Right, because the time it takes to make that thing, to get to there, to beat everybody back over. I got to get over to this place.
That is exactly the movie.
Oh, I've been dying to see this movie.
Oh, you got to see it. It's called The Black Mask. It's great. He talks about he's going outside like the windows and thinking ahead of what somebody might do, and he's explaining it to people. So it's really, really really interesting. You should see
The
it.
Black Mask.
The
All right,
Black
cool.
Mask,
Perfect. You know I love that kind of stuff. It's like,
Oh, you'll love it. You'll
How
get a
did
kick
he
out of
think
it.
I had to have a gravel truck? How did he, you know?
Yeah, and he talks about the walking
Yeah.
killer and how he kills people while he walks.
Right.
It's really fun.
Right. Graduation Day. Cool. And Black Mask. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else should we be watching?
Stranger Things on Netflix. We just got compared. A reviewer said that All Through the House is probably the movie version of Stranger Things.
Nice.
Wow.
Because of the 80s throwbacks and all the nods that we give to. I mean, I can't wait for somebody who's a real big fan of horror movies to go through and sort of pick everything out, because there's all kinds of little details from names to colors that represent movies.
So there's a lot
from
of
that genre.
inside content, inside joke kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It's filled with it. I mean, that's what the movie is.
Right. It's a callback. I like it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Now, to the next segment of our show, which we like to call... I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
I was all, what is this?
This is the speed round.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Let's talk about Death Ward 13.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of things planned for it. A lot of differences from the original movie. The original movie was about an insane asylum, but we're kicking it up a notch, and it's going to be in a criminally insane asylum.
So the original movie, which I did not see, was Don't Look in the Basement.
Don't Look in the Basement.
And that was about an insane asylum.
It sure was.
Where in the insane asylum, there was a warning for us not to look in the basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like good advice.
Yeah.
Now, in Death Ward 13, however...
Well, in the original Don't Look in the Basement, there really was nothing to do with the basement. The movie had about 7 alternative titles that it was released under. And when it landed on Don't Look in the Basement, that was the movie that sparked interest and got people interested. Because it was this, what's in the basement? And you watch the movie and you're like, oh, there's nothing in the basement. Okay. So we definitely, that was something I thought that needed to be answered, and that the basement really did need to be a prominent character subplot of the movie. So it plays a bigger part in the reimagining of Death Ward 13, which, by the way, Death Ward 13 was one of the previous titles of
Death
Don't Look at Me.
Ward number 13.
It was number 13, but we took out the number and just Death Ward
it's cleaner.
13. Yeah, it is cleaner, right?
So that's great, man. I love hearing about this because Death Ward 13 is an update that uses one of the original titles that was ultimately rejected.
Yeah.
But then it answers more to the title that was ultimately chosen and really kind of underrepresented in the original film.
Yes.
So Don't Look in the Basement. That's a neat title, and it's catchy, and it makes you wonder, and it drums up suspense. But they really didn't capitalize on it.
No, they didn't. It wasn't intended because the title, I think, was the last title that they went with, and that was the one that took off. So they stayed with it, and it's a great title.
Which isn't to say that they began and then fell short of dealing with the basement, but you got to deal with the basement. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
basements are great.
Yeah, without giving anything away, you don't want to give away. So what is different about the new film? What's been updated that's...
you don't want to look in the basement.
Yeah.
Let's start
You
there.
really, really don't.
Seriously, don't look in the basement.
Yeah. Well, you got to kick it up a notch, and I like the concept of young nurses. I mean,
Yes.
right? Do you
So
guys?
do I.
Did I get your attention?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so that's the point. In the original, there was one young nurse that comes into this.
That's not nearly
asylum.
enough.
No, it is not. So we thought maybe 6.
Okay.
Okay. So 4 main
That's a
ones,
good number.
4
Yeah.
main nurses, and then there's other nurses that come in.
You know,
and out.
those nurse uniforms, terrible at staying on. Just letting you know.
No, they are horrible at staying on,
Yes.
especially the real fitted ones.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and water getting on them is not a good. Well,
White's not a
it
good
depends on how
color.
you look at it.
Right.
So I thought.
Are any of them wearing latex gloves?
no latex gloves?
Okay.
No
Can we
latex.
wear latex gloves?
Okay, these are
I'm going to while I watch the movie,
I've
just
got
so
'em on
everybody
right
knows.
now.
Anyway.
okay. These are nice nurses.
Oh, okay.
They're nubile and clean and white.
I
and
let 17 jokes
young-
go by right
I bet...
Just a zillion of them.
They're interns to become nurses,
I
so they're
see.
new and they're wide-eyed and they're in a really
Eager.
bad situation.
They're very eager in
Yeah.
a bad situation.
I like it.
So the movie takes place.
That sounds like all of my fun girlfriends. Anyway,
Yeah, I described it to one reviewer who knows Don't Look at the Basement really well. I said, we're going to have more nurses, more maniacs, and more blood. And, he put out a review the next day. He says, "I was sold."
Here are the things that you could improve from the original movie. Yeah. So you're in pre-production now.
Yes.
When might you start your production schedule?
It's looking more like we'll start at the beginning of the year. I don't want to do anything in December, but I do want to get it during the time.
Is there something strategic about December that?
Well, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's just.
First of all, you don't want to rush it.
I don't want to rush it, and I just don't want anything else bothering me.
Yeah. Distractions.
Having
of
to
Christmas.
buy a present or be happy. I just don't don't want to worry about those things.
That darn cotton picking happiness. So, the beginning of the year, what kind of shooting schedule are you looking at?
Well, we're going to film the big portion of our movie. I always sort of block it out in like the main location, and that's where we'll film for about 6-7 days straight, which is the asylum. And then we'll schedule all the other scenes that we can shoot out. Like we have an office. Okay, we don't have to pay to have it, in the asylum. We can have an office somewhere else. We could dress that, make it look old and grungy, and papers and books and, those brains and, the missing pieces and, just do a lot of fun stuff and save a lot of money that way.
So you're looking at a 6-7 day intensive shooting schedule in the main location.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff you'll do sporadically around that.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest obstacle that a young filmmaker would have in shooting a picture like this where there is a main location like an asylum? Is it finding the asylum?
It's finding the money, unless the money is already there.
Yeah.
The asylum...
It's always finding the money,
Finding the
isn't it?
money and trying to figure out how to cheat it and make it work if you are using another location.
Yeah. Because one of the magic things about a director especially in the horror genre, especially in the independent horror genre, is that you got to make a $30,000 movie look like $1 million movie.
You absolutely have to.
And so you're doing everything that you can to compete you're playing in the big leagues with a wiffle ball bat.
Yeah.
And somehow you manage to do that with All Through the House. So with Death Ward 13, we can expect more twists. We can expect... Is there advantages to having a central location like an asylum where you can say, okay, we're in here for 7 days, so we can do... is there...
Yeah, absolutely there is. And it's good. And also because I have a specific vision that I'm really trying to get across. I mentioned about claustrophobia, so I want bars on the windows. I want decay. I want water dripping from holes, like the place is crying. I want, but you can't, where do you get that? Where do you get everything that you want? So sometimes you have to piece that together. So maybe we film everything inside a prison. Mm-hmm. And the outside of the prison, I get my gothic castle-like look out in the woods.
Right.
And so I can sort of combine those two and try to get this vision that I have in my head and get it out on film.
These are the interesting things that people look at. I mean, there's always like the Easter eggs and stuff, and that's cool. But there are always production things that cinephiles will gravitate toward. Like, man, they did such a great job, even though the interior was a closed-down state facility that used to be a school district building in Burbank, and the exterior was really like 3 walls outside of a castle in Ireland or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's movie magic.
Yeah.
Movie magic.
Movie magic. There's a great castle, the Preston Castle in the Bay Area.
Where is that?
I think it's by Napa. You got to look into it. It's a beautiful castle out in the woods. Looking into it.
And so when they build a castle like this sounds perfect for a scenario where it's like, sure, we rent this out as a location. And are you guys renting it as a location? Are you planning on shooting something there?
Well, it's a possibility. It's something that I'm looking into, and they do rent it out. You really need the outside. So we'll see what happens. I mean, like right now, pre-production, things change.
Yeah.
But it's definitely what I'm looking for.
For this picture?
For this picture.
Oh, okay.
I want a real gothic feel to it. I want this dirty, dirty atmosphere and these beautiful, angelic nurses coming into this. And I like that contrast.
Right. Who are really dirty, dirty nurses.
No. Well, that all depends on how you look at it.
Don't impede my imagination. So, terrific, man. When do you think the movie might come out?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll get it out for the festivals
The summer festivals?
October.
By, like, this
October.
time
For
next
horror
year.
movies, yeah, it's October.
Festival season starts in October?
Yeah, a lot of the big festivals. I mean, they're all year long.
Sure.
But if you want to get like
The
those big
strategic
ones.
track of the big festivals.
Yeah, October
Your
is a great
season
year.
kind of starts
Yeah,
in October.
Great
For this
month.
genre.
Yeah. That's cool. Also good to know.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking forward to in the future after Death War 13? And I know this question is sort of like, right now you're probably thinking of nothing besides what. That's the thing about the film process that's so magical, is that it's so consuming.
I am thinking totally and obsessed with Death War 13, but I'm always thinking beyond that. I was thinking about Death War 13 while I was doing All Through the House.
Yeah.
And likewise, I'm thinking I've already have 2 other projects. I've already got that going. So it's just you have to too. You can't go and do one movie and then all of a sudden be like, oh, so what should I do next?
Yeah. You got to roll ahead.
Yeah, because it's always about playing around with it in your head for a while, getting used to it, getting comfortable, figuring out the vision, and how to go about achieving that.
Yeah.
So it's a process, but it's a fun process.
You can't think about the 9th inning in the first inning.
Yeah.
But setting that aside for a second, what are you guys thinking about looking? I mean, you have to sort of strategically plan your career as a filmmaker because you have a finite amount of time, and I know you have things you want to say. Mm-hmm. And then, Ashley, for you, your time may even be more finite because I will say that you look terrific. You're even more stunning this time than the last time we
Are
saw
you
you.
in better shape than last time?
You are in better shape
thank
than the
you.
last time we saw
Thank
you, even,
I
right?
appreciate that.
Wouldn't you say? You've been training a lot,
Yeah,
it seems like.
I've been trying. I mean, I have a track background or athletic background,
Right.
so I'm kind of just getting back into that because that kind of
Don't get me wrong, you've never looked shabby.
No,
But it seems like the last few months you've been really training a
Killing it.
I
lot.
think I'm preparing for my next role.
Uh-huh.
It's very demanding, physically demanding.
I see.
So,
And you're also in a competition right now.
I am in a competition right
Yeah.
now, online competition. It's for the Galactic Film Festival, which is done by.
Do you have to jump to the moon because you work out hard?
Oh, thank you. No, it's an online competition to see who's going to be this year's Miss Galactic. I'm running up against 4 other contestants. I guess I'm currently, as of this morning, in the lead right now.
Sweet.
So,
Yes, we
All right.
applaud.
the contest, the voting, you can vote once a day on as many devices as you would like.
Oh,
So she's
And-
asking for you to vote for her.
Everybody vote. Look, I have 2 devices right here and a
You
laptop.
can go to galacticfilmfest.org and you can click on their voting for Miss Galactic. Just click on that link and you will see a list of us. Just make sure you click the bubble next to my picture.
nice.
Terrific.
We will.
And there'll be, I believe, the contest ends, the voting ends the 29th, and I think they announce the 30th.
We'll put a link up
So-
when we post the show. We'll put a link up for
All Through the House.
Through the house.
We'll put a link up for...
Is there a better place for you guys to have people buy it? Is it through iTunes is the best? Through Amazon?
Right now we're pushing iTunes. We'll be on all major video on-demand platforms in October 4th. iTunes, we're pushing hard. Amazon, if you want to get a Blu-ray or
Hard
DVD.
copy. Mm-hmm.
And we'll be signing, the cast and crew signing Blu-rays at Dark Delicacies in Burbank on October 30th. So come on down.
At 2
Ooh, October
p.m.
30th.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot
We'll
of
have
fun.
a lot of cast
Dark
and crew there,
Delicacies.
Yeah, it's a great store, great place.
Wow.
All things horror.
That's cool. So, all right, we'll put links up for all that stuff. Also, we'll put your Twitter handle and we'll put your
All that good
all
stuff.
that good stuff. So,
Yeah.
if you guys are listening to the show on iTunes or Stitcher or one of your podcast apps, just go to breakitdownshow.com, click on Hear the Latest or episode list or wherever you want to find it, and look for or do a site search for Todd and Ashley Nunes. Actually, you know what? They'll also get to hear your previous
Interviews.
Oh,
Episodes,
yeah,
yeah.
we've
Episodes
been
on
here
the show.
before.
Yes. But never together. You guys are like the Wonder Twins right now.
Yeah. Sometimes
More
people
movie
ask.
magic.
Activate.
Yeah, sometimes people ask for us together, and sometimes not.
Yeah.
Well, because separately, I mean, if we talk to each of you separately, we're going to talk specifically about the job that you do. But the two of you together have a different dynamic because you're filmmaking partners. you come at it from, it's not like usually filmmaking partners, you have like the Coen brothers or something who are co-directing, but you have a relationship where you're guiding what's on the screen and performing what's on the screen. And that tandem relationship and the fact that you're siblings brings a whole different dynamic.
It does, and a lot of people have commented on that. We've been dubbed the brother-sister duo, and we kind of run with that. I mean, you know.
Well, you should.
Yeah, definitely Ashley is doing other work, and she's an actress on other projects, but...
To the moment right now, you are leading by even more because I just voted for you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've tweeted it out, so it's going to happen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When does voting end?
The voting ends the 29th, September 29th. And I believe the winner is announced the 30th.
Nice.
The festival is in November, though, for
there we
that.
go.
So there'll be other events and stuff. So whoever wins will be going to different red carpet events and possible role in a movie, and
If
some
they're
cash
smart.
is involved.
Sweet. Yeah.
So I would really appreciate the win.
Sweet. Well, we'll keep our eyes out for the big release of All Through the House, and we'll look forward to this time next year, the release of Death Ward 13.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
And we'll look forward to having you guys on the show again.
Oh, absolutely.
You guys will have to be at the world premiere.
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah.
Tuxedo T-shirts.
Yes.
No problem.
Walking the red carpet.
Yeah.
In a tuxedo. I wore.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
I'll wear a tuxedo with like Angus pants,
Something.
little short
Chaps.
Angus pants, and a.
Can you do tuxedo with chaps?
You could do
Did
anything
you say
with a
can you
tuxedo
do or have you done?
at a horror festival.
Can. Yes and yes.
But
Yeah.
the good thing about like horror festivals, you can pretty much get away wearing anything.
You really can. It's
That's
really
my kind
fun.
of party. That's
Yeah.
my kind of party.
You can never be under or overdressed.
Right.
That is Pete's kind of
Or
party.
in costume.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, can you talk her into hanging out the window and take some pictures?
Can you hang out the window and take some pictures?
Sure.
Yes.
See?
You know what I mean?
It's
I
that
was
power
just, I was
attitude.
just like, let's see how we're going to pull this off.
It's that
She actually
can-do
looked.
attitude.
She looked like I
The
thought we were gonna
sacrificing
do
for the
something.
part
Yeah.
that makes
a
Ashley.
couple of floors. That's
Yeah,
not.
she analyzed it for a couple seconds. And
Yeah, that was generous of you to say that because she didn't. She was just like, "Yeah, I'll do it." What is it again? Yeah, I'll do it.
Hey, shout out to our studio audience member Jerry Shaw who's sitting in with us. Thank you so much
Jerry!
for coming down,
Jerry.
Hello.
Also, I can't say it enough. We're here for the generosity of Hilliard Guess,
Man, we love
who
you.
The
does
man.
the Screenwriters Rant Room. And if you guys aren't already listening to the Screenwriters Rant Room, and if you've listened all through this show and you're that interested in film, there's absolutely much, much more in-depth stuff about writing and culture and cinema and music and everything that
So
you
good.
could possibly like in the Screenwriters Rant Room. So go listen to it. Click
In
on
the rant room.
That's right, and they keep it real for sure. Ashley, Todd,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you once again for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
Oh, thank
We had a
you.
blast.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Yes.